applied for the Innovation Fund and received the grant for $150,000 to work with our ERT and DPH and DMH all around outreach in Skid Row. So it's adding an LAPD component to Skid Row outreach. The $150,000 is for additional ERT staff. And those are the 4 items in this cycle that we're requesting approval to execute agreements.
Hi, I'm Brown, Monitoring Compliance Officer for LAHSA. This is a verbal report back only. At the FCG meeting held on September 18th, a number of people spoke during public comment about possible issues with the Center for Life year-round program shelter located at 8770 South Broadway. The subrecipient had recently opened this new location and new participants. As it is important for services to participants in the success of the program, any concerns or issues needed to be addressed. LAHSA made inquiries to BOA regarding specific areas of concerns that were identified during the meeting and requested that BOA provide a response to those concerns. The primary concerns were safety of participants in the program, concerns over the transportation process, quality of services, reasonable accommodations for clients, and concerns with the facility. BOA has provided a response. That response has been reviewed. They communicated that changes have been made to the program to ensure the safety of the participants. They changed their policy on walk. But one of the major issues was walk-ins. They've changed their policy and they don't allow walk-ins now unless there's specific needs of that identified as disabled, certain categories of participants that they will allow based on health issues. They have policies and procedures around this and provided them to LAHSA. They provided policies and procedures on their transportation processes and any changes that they were going to make to ensure the safety of that. LAHSA does have additional recommendations for them that we will be addressing with them. We will be performing a site monitoring of the program to ensure that they are implementing the processes and any recommendations that LAHSA makes, and ensure that the facility, we had just done a facility review, it is in working order. I think as expressed during the last meeting, hopefully the winter shelter opening up and the additional beds around the community will help, but we're talking about that there was 125 beds that they're being funded for and over 150 people showing up for that. We've asked that they put in place to ensure that they have in place, because they did have policies around it, referrals to other shelters when they were full, not just turning people away. How were they addressing, because it's a vulnerable population and this is the women's shelter, and we've asked to ensure that they have referral processes in place to ensure that people are being referred to other shelters. So, question?
May we have public comment?
Yes, good day. My name is Suzette Shaw. Please excuse me, my voice, I have been sick. So. Again, my name is Suzette Shaw. I am a Skid Row resident, and I'm also co-chair of the Downtown Women's Action Coalition. Today I am here to speak in regards to the BOA programming at 8770 Broadway. As of just a couple of days ago, I did have the opportunity to speak with several ladies who do currently stay at the shelter. You might remember that many of us from DWAC, Downtown Women's Action Coalition, were here to assist and support several of the women who were here as well from the shelter a few weeks ago. And you may be surprised to know that today several of those women did not come, because they say, many of the women said that they have faced retaliation since the last time they were here. Therefore, I will, as best as I can, speak on their behalf given some of the various comments that were given to me in the last couple of days. Many of the women who end up homeless and end up living at such places as these shelters do so because they have no other place to go. These shelters are being funded through the county, through federal funding, and therefore the precarious situations that these ladies find themselves living in is definitely alarming. These ladies feel that their human rights are being violated. Many of these, the quality of life continues to be further jeopardized from what I've been told from the ladies. And when many ladies end up homeless, it's very, very exasperating, mentally and physically. And those exasperations are only further exasperated and further eroded. I'm sorry?
Your time is up.
Oh, I didn't know you were putting me on a clock. Nobody else was on a clock. I didn't realize I was on a clock.
Everybody's on a clock.
No, nobody told me I was on a clock.
Staff
The
is not.
staff was giving us
It's
a,
on the agenda that says,
Oh, I didn't realize I was on a clock. Well, I had a couple other things. Do you mind if, this is my first time here, so I'm sorry, I'm not familiar with your policy. You mind giving me?
commissioners?
Thank you, I appreciate that. Again, their health is being further eroded, both mentally and physically. Therefore, the staff needs to, the ladies have asked me to ask that the staff take into consideration the well-being of the environment that they further create for the ladies they have been entrusted to care for. And also, this includes, the ladies say that, just the fact that they're having to get up at like 3:30, 4:30 in the morning, yet they're not being allowed to either take showers and or even eat oftentimes before getting on the bus at 5:45. And why are they having to do this monkey game of rushing to get on and off the bus or get on the bus at 5:45 to leave so early in the first place is still a question to many of the ladies. And whisked away from the facility. I just also wanted to note that the ladies are also saying that the first floor has overflowing conditions.
Okay.
Sanitation issues continue to be of issues such as fecal matter, no toilet seat covers, and the restroom stalls, no shower curtains, storage bins, and even mirrors.
Thank you.
And remember that these ladies
Thank
are
you.
also civilians who are also displaced. So when we think about
you.
veterans, we should also think about civilian veterans. These
Thank
are
you,
our
ma'am.
mothers, our sisters. These
Ma'am.
could be you as well.
Thank
Thank
you.
you very much.
Properly. My name is Louise Mbelati. I'm silent. Thank you. So I'd like to speak on item number 9. I'd like to know what's the report on the way the women felt they were treated by staff. Okay, and also there's another issue is that I feel like the shelter should be open 24 hours. I mean, it is not humane for the ladies to wake up at 3-4 a.m. and be dropped off in an unsafe area. Schedule is not very safe area, okay? So I think that needs to be addressed, and also the accommodation. Okay, the shelter needs to be fixed. There needs to be physical repair, tangible repair to accommodate the disabled ladies. This is not a show for us to talk, and then everybody get the funding, and the shelters, the ladies in the shelter are still, suffering from being not accommodated properly. Please, the board, review those aspects. Okay, winter shelter, the winter comes up. Okay, why do they have to go out in the rain? Please, make those changes. Okay, I understand that there will be extra shelter, winter shelters, but that's not what I'm asking. I'm asking that the ones who are already receiving services at the 88 location have the privilege to stay during cold season and then still recover and be able to go to case management and find jobs and everything else. And we also would like to have this report in writing. We wrote you a letter. We'd like a response, please. Yes, last time we came, we gave a letter.
No, there was no letter.
Okay, then we will resend it.
There was a letter.
Pardon me?
She
There was
gave,
a letter, we gave it to the ED, what's his name, I'm sorry, the executive director of LASA.
it's fine, we could resend it. We'd like something in writing. Thank you so much for your
Okay,
time.
thank you. Okay.
Okay, so first,
I'm sorry, introduce yourself on.
okay, so I'm Ariana Alcaraz. I'm a member of the Downtown Women's Action Coalition and also LA CAN. And I do just want to say thank you. I know that your action last month to do this investigation into the program, the women were very pleased to hear that that happened, and unfortunately some of them could not make it here today. But I do just want to say thank you for that and responding to the concerns that the ladies brought to you last month. However, I think that a response from the VOA and sort of, we did submit a letter last time, and so we would like something
What
back
was
today.
it, this letter, this doesn't come against your.
The letter was the letter that I read in the beginning of the meeting before the ladies came up and spoke. And I did read off of a letter and I handed it to somebody who took the letters from me. And he was supposed to make sure that all of you got it.
Okay.
And I will follow up with that person.
I never saw a letter, I want you to understand that. And,
Okay.
And
I agree.
so I don't know if you handed it to
And then
one of our
also, we
staff
did
or
reach
not.
out to some LASA staff throughout the month asking for what the deal with, like how the investigation was going. I wish that they would have responded so we could have connected them to some of the ladies that did speak on public comment so that they could have given their, they stay at the shelter so they know if things are being improved or not, or if anything's happening or going on in the shelter. I think that if you just ask for a response from the VOA, they're probably gonna lie or, cover up some stuff as well. So I think that the investigation could have been better if you would have included some of the ladies that came and gave public comment. So I guess, I hope that this is ongoing and that whoever is doing the investigation into the VOA shelter, that they would connect with DWAC and so that we can connect them with some of the ladies who are directly being affected by what's going on in the shelter. So if
Okay.
anybody can get in touch with me after this meeting, so we can get some contact information, because we reached out to a couple people throughout the month and never got a response back. Okay?
Okay. One of the problems that I'm hearing is the complaints. And I hate to use the word complaint, but one of the issues that have been raised, they're very non-specific, generalized kinds of issues. When we talk about the broad-based things such as human rights violations, et cetera, it's very difficult for us as an entity to look to try to, how do we correct something like that?
Right.
I mean, that's not something that within our purview to be able to really say, excuse me, specifically, you need to do this, and this.
Right.
Much broader based issues. When we talk about this particular shelter site, we need much more specific kinds of things that may be within our ability to be able to correct. For example, when you talk about getting up at 3 or 4 o'clock, but I don't know what time it is because I've got two different sets of time. But if you're talking about rising at 4:30 in the morning to be able to get on the bus to be transported back to Skid Row, one of the conditions of the funding of this shelter is that everybody has to be out of the community by X time. So that accommodation has to be made. Now, you can't get everybody out at, let's say, 5 o'clock or 6 o'clock if they don't get up out of the bed until 5 or 6 o'clock. So, it's those kinds of things that I'm trying to figure what are, now in terms of the physical facility, I can tell you for a fact, because I was there myself, there have been numerous inspections. There was county, there was city, there was everybody that came in to that facility to assure that that facility is operational. Now, if something happens, I don't know that because I'm not there all the time. Nobody's there all the time. So I'm trying to get my hands around what actions can we take outside of, our staff has said that there are some things that they found that were of deficit that they're going to ask for further corrective action. What else, what other things can we do or we need to do or we need to think about relative to this particular facility? And we need a level of specificity that's going to help us to be able to do the things that are necessary, because none of us want to see anybody mistreated or not accommodated in a proper way. I mean, we're not here for that. We're here to make sure that our shelter operations are as good as they can be.
Okay, so I think the first step to be made is to connect with some of the ladies that did come, and who do have specific things that they've witnessed, things that have happened to them. It may not be all of the ladies that came last month, but I think that at least a couple of them, if the staff person who was in charge of doing the, who in charge of reaching out to the VOA, if they could sit down with some of the ladies that were directly affected and like hear any updates going on from them. But if it's just between LASA and the VOA and not including those who have actually had those concerns and wanted to bring them to you in the first place, so I think that might be the first step, is for that person to somehow keep in touch with us so that we can facilitate that process and have those ladies meet. It doesn't have to be a very long meeting, but it should be a check-in with the people that were directly affected and who wanted to come and express that to you.
Okay.
So that's like the first step that I could think of.
That's nice that you were willing to listen to Andrea, because I gave you a whole list of things, specific things, and you cut me off. So that's nice that you're willing to give her the time and listen to her. I appreciate that. I gave you specific things. You rushed me away from the podium.
Okay, so if somebody can get in touch with me, I will be more than happy to give my contact information and we can help set that up.
Okay.
Okay?
Okay, thank you.
Excuse me, I need you to say your name. for the
Suzette Shaw. I just wanted to comment into and rebuttal in regards to you, after I last spoke, you said something in regards to why are we talking about why that's the contract that you have with the VOA, as far as, the fact that the ladies pick up the bus at 5:45 a.m. to go to Skid Row. So then that's one of the questions that the ladies repeatedly said to me when I had several conversations just a couple of days ago. Why is it that they're being whisked away so early in the morning to come to Skid Row? Why isn't it that the services are provided there where they are at the shelter, as opposed to having to hurry and scurry away to get on a bus, missing opportunities to shower as well as to have breakfast, to get on the bus to come to Skid Row? And personally, I find it a question too, so I am posing that to you as well. I mean, it just seems as if, for one thing, as I've witnessed publicly, that, there's a lot of conversation in regards to helping to support the needs of Skid Row better. So if we're going to support the needs of Skid Row better, then it's important that we, be very strategic and as far as the wellness and quality of lives of these women, and supporting the needs of the Skid Row community to better support the needs of women, because it seems like the programs are continuously being lessened for the needs of women. The programs and services are continuously less and less for women. And so again, I just wanted to come back and offer you a suggestion in regards to and in regards to the needs of supporting the quality of life for services for the women who are coming in Skid Row. And if you are able to apply for better accommodating the needs at the shelter before they even come into a Skid Row. There's just two sides of looking at it, but basically the ladies are feeling like they're being rushed, hurried to go nowhere. And I know when I was homeless, I know I called it a monkey game. It's to hurry up and rush to go nowhere, to do nothing. And it's a game of basically really further exacerbating the mental and physical conditions of women when they end up homeless. I myself encountered it, and it doesn't make for a good quality of life. It doesn't help people get employed. It doesn't help them to move further on in their life. It only erodes the quality of life that they're living at that time. Thank you.
Thank you. Louise Bella?
Hello, my name is Louise Bella. Thank you for saying my name properly. And I do appreciate the fact that you appear to want to try to help the ladies. I like the comment that you made. You said you don't want nobody to be mistreated. So I like to hear that. Yes, I wanted to comment on the LASA outreach team that goes in the street and reach out to the people in the street on sidewalks. I feel like some of them need to be retrained in their response while they're interacting with people in the community. So I give you an example. Let's say I'm talking to you, Mr. Mike Ely, is that correct? I don't want to. Yes, and I just go, well, I don't have to answer to you. I don't have to say anything to you. Go ahead and report me. So basically, it's like you're telling me if I'm unhappy with your interaction with me while you're on duty and you're getting paid by LASA, you have the right to tell me, go talk to LASA. Basically, LASA is backing up you interacting with me negatively, but yet you're on payroll. I don't think that's proper. I'm not going to say any names, but I'd like that those who are on the team, they'll be retrained and, you know, so there'll be a better interaction. Please, every dollar counts. Thank you.
Thank you.